Brooklands Radio believes your health matters.
So, the week commencing the 13th of May, so from Monday, is Mental Health Awareness Week. And Idili Kamitaru, who was in a few weeks ago with us, our lovely cognitive behavioural therapist, is back to chat to us about some further research. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me again.
It's lovely to have you back in here. Idili, you were just explaining to me that Mental Health Awareness Week always has a theme. Tell us about this year's theme.
That's right. So, Mental Health Awareness Week started in 2001, and the Mental Health Foundation every year dedicates this week on a specific topic issue. This year is around body image. So any emotional difficulties that lead to changes in our body image and how we view ourselves, but also the consequences of how we view ourselves back on our emotions. So that's very interesting, and I think it's coming up a lot in the media as well, isn't it?
It is. It's coming up a huge amount. Lots of people either undereat or overeat, and usually it's something emotional that's making them do that. Yeah. We've also got some interesting new data, haven't we, on the ways in which many people in Surrey are masking their mental health problems. Can you tell us a bit more about that, please?
Yeah. So that was based on a recent research that took place in the area of Surrey and studied young people from the ages of 16 to 35. And the outcomes revealed that 93% of people mask their true emotions and pretend to be happy, although they experience mental health symptoms. And the most frequent way of them masking their symptoms was through busyness, so keeping busy, scheduling too much in their day, and I guess having less time and space to think about problems or difficult feelings. 65% struggle to connect with people or believe that people don't really know them. And when people were asked about their family and friends, 84% were able to witness other people masking their symptoms too. So they also did that by overusing busyness. A lot of people avoid others, avoid social situations, or they overuse humor and drink alcohol, again, in an effort to mask their symptoms.
I wonder why it is. It's almost as if people are just too vulnerable to say how they really feel. And actually, people care. You know, people would never judge you, or most people wouldn't judge you if you said that you had some sort of issue. I think it's you know, it is good to talk about it to people and to be honest and open and not be too vulnerable. Yeah. Interesting statistics, though. You know, 92% hiding behind busyness. That's shocking, really, isn't it? Because also, if you're busy, you're not going to have the time to do the things that might make you feel better, like go out and walk, or we were talking about this earlier as well, getting out to walk in nature. And
we often find that people don't have time to problem solve and really address things that they worry about when they're too busy. They don't have time for pleasurable activities or time for relaxation, which is, of course, in line with what she said. No much time to do things that will help us feel better eventually. Me time for themselves. Yeah, and stigmatizing, I can't say it, is highlighted as a real issue by one of the survey respondents. Can you explain that a little bit? So self-stigmatizing is the process of a person with a mental health condition or symptoms becoming aware of the stereotypes in the society, but also agreeing with them and start applying them on themselves. So in a few words, self-stigma is about internalizing the negative voice of the society about mental health symptoms. And it relates to beliefs such as my symptoms symptoms are a sign of weakness, or the fact that I have no motivation in life at the moment means that I'm lazy. So there is a lot of self-blame, a lot of labeling, which of course leads to difficult feelings like shame or embarrassment. A lot of people feel that they've let themselves down by feeling this way or not being able to manage their thoughts, and they might feel sad and hopeless about the future as well. So self-stigma often leads to behaviors like the urge for people to hide their symptoms, avoid isolating themselves socially and emotionally, avoid seeking or receiving help, which of course can have an impact on their quality of life. And they end up bottling up their feelings, which means that a vicious cycle of more and more difficult feelings and low self-esteem is reinforced.
The one respondent in the survey is a 28-year-old paramedic science student from Guildford, and he himself was calling for an end, wasn't he, to self-stigmatising and encouraging others to seek help this Mental Health Awareness Week, which is great, and we need more young people like that to come out and say to others, it's okay to say what's wrong. You often see Facebook posts where people are saying, this is okay, it's okay, speak out, I'm always here, the kettle is always on if you want to come in and have a chat. And and I think more of us need to do that, really, to let everybody know it's safe to say if you have a problem, because there's too many people that, go the whole way, really, when they really don't know how to handle the situation that they're in. What can be done to help more people talk about any mental health issues that they might have?
I think that this depends on the role that we have in society, but I'm sure that we can all contribute towards helping people talk more about mental health. The more we encourage discussions around mental health, as we do together today, hopefully the easier it will become for people to take the first step and start sharing their difficult feelings. And once they do that, they automatically encourage more people to do the same.
Yeah.
So whether it's your children or spouse, your colleague at work or neighbor, just try to encourage people to talk more about how they feel, as disclosure is the first step towards tackling self-stigma. And as parents or people working with younger generations, I think it's important to teach our children that it's okay to feel bad and talk about it and share it with other people. And it's also important for all of us to become more considerate of other people's feelings. So when we come across a behavior that we might not approve, for instance, it might be helpful to ask ourselves, could this be the outcome of stress, pressure, worry or low mood that someone is experiencing? And in my opinion, it would make a big difference if we can be more compassionate and kinder towards people rather than judgmental and strict.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We need to be kind and put ourselves in the position of other people. To how would we feel if we were in that situation? And I think you're right with parents. When children are very young, they need to be almost taught the language of how to explain their feelings rather than burying feelings. I think probably the era I was raised in, you didn't talk about feelings particularly. And I think today parents need to be able to talk to their children and say, it's okay to say if you're sad, it's okay to say if you're angry, just so that they deal with their emotions from an early age.
And most importantly, we are role models. So I think it's really important how we manage our own feelings. I've met parents of children or early years practitioners who become embarrassed to cry in front of children. But actually, if you allow yourself to do that and you explain the reasons behind it, the sadness, that it's okay, we all feel low some days, I think then it's easier for children themselves to do that in the future.
Yes, so just show your vulnerability in front of children. so that, yeah. I used to find that with mine. I would always say sorry, even if I'd accidentally, I don't know, scratched them when I was washing them or something. But I found that as they started talking and everything, if they did something and they realised I wasn't happy about it, they would always say sorry, because they learnt that it was safe to say that. It's worrying that the research shows that nearly half of people surveyed in Surrey admitted that they didn't know where to go for help with mental health issues. What's available for them?
So that's a lot of the time it depends on the area. So in the area of Surrey, people can speak to their GPs and explore the options that are available through the NHS. But at the same time, there are loads of charities available that might specialise in certain issues like relationship problems or bereavement, and they can offer counselling sessions. There are different approaches available, and that it depends on what people's goals are. As a service, we offer cognitive behavioural therapy, but of course there are other approaches out there that can be helpful, like counselling, or you mentioned mindfulness before, so trying to be more present, more in the moment, rather than being preoccupied with thoughts about the past or the future. That's also an important skill that people can learn.
Thank you. That was Ideally Kamataru talking to us today in advance of Mental Health Awareness Week, which starts on Monday.
Brooklands Radio believes your health matters.